Hey guys, it's Amory, and today I'm doing a Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesdays was started by Ginger Reads Laney. I'll make sure I link her below. Today's topic is my top 5 anti-heroes. I have a thing about anti-heroes because when I think about the people that I really like in film, in books too, even when I was younger, I always kind of liked either the anti-hero or I felt sorry for the villain. Gem and the Holograms, Pizzazz, I felt so bad for her. You saw how hard her situation was, and that's kind of like what drove her to make the decisions that she made. Although they weren't great decisions, I still felt bad for her anyway. So it's not so hard for me to do this tag. So let's start. My first anti-hero, my favorite anti-hero ever, would be Tony Soprano of The Sopranos. If you guys haven't seen the show, what? It's one of the best shows that's ever been on television. It changed the game. In my opinion, it really stepped up what people expected from TV shows. And that's why I feel cable TV has the best television out there. Actually, Netflix has really been catching up. I mean, Netflix has some great shows like House of Cards. Yeah. But anyway, back to the tag. Number 1 is Tony Soprano. He's a family guy. Yes, he has a problem with infidelity. That's something I really had a problem with. I always felt like Carmela should leave him. I never thought she should stay as much as I love Tony. But Tony had a code. That's what I liked. He wasn't just slinging out indiscriminate violence for no reason. He tried to protect the innocent, although sometimes he did things that I didn't like. And I remember seeing an interview once with the showrunners, and they were saying how after the first season they really had to kind of shift gears a little because people loved Tony so much. They were like, no, like seriously, he does bad things. They had to muddy the waters a little. But in any case, love Tony Soprano. Number 2 would be Nucky Thompson from Boardwalk Empire. If you haven't seen that show, you guys, you need to watch it. It's amazing. I love how Nucky came from nothing to attain a lot of success. He was smart, he was savvy, he was a hard worker. He did some things that were pretty bad too, but Nucky, even more than Tony Soprano, almost always does the right thing to protect the innocent. Very rarely does he let someone get hurt. He only resorted to violence if it was absolutely necessary, although we can debate what that is. Let's put ourselves in the context of what's happening in his line of work. He wasn't like a sadist like Al Capone. He really just did what he had to do just to survive. He cared about his family, he took care of his family, he took care of a lot of people actually. And I won't say any more because, okay, I won't talk about the endings. I won't talk about the endings of any of these shows because for some of you who haven't seen it yet, yeah. Number 3 is Severus Snape. I don't know if Severus Snape would qualify exactly as an anti-hero because, let me see, I think for the first 5 books, Severus Snape is just an antagonist and we don't really see those layers. When you look at the scope of the entire story and we see how he is and how he's been hurt and how he doesn't really have a lot of patience and he is hard on Hermione. He isn't nice. Even though he ends up being the hero of the story, those are things that weren't the typical things we'd expect from a hero. Number 4, Selena Sardothien. I don't think I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Selena Sardothien. She's automatically the anti-hero because first of all, she's the protagonist and she's the hero of the story. However, she is an assassin, which by nature already makes her an anti-hero because that would not be a nice profession for a nice person, right? Being a hired gun, or in her case, a sword, yeah, that's not very nice. But she's smart, she does have empathy for the innocent. We see this a lot in The Assassin's Blade. But she also does some things that just aren't very nice sometimes. Sometimes she can be downright rude. She can escalate situations just because she's so stubborn. I think she qualifies as an anti-hero. And for number 5, I have 2 people. Eli and Victor in V.E. Schwab's Vicious. They were friends in college. Something happens and they separate. One ends up in jail, the other ends up in the outside world trying to kill everyone that has powers except for his sidekick. You would think that automatically would make him a villain, but when you really see what he's trying to do, well, you know what? Actually, that does kind of make him villainous. But I feel like there were certain qualities about him that were heroic, which is, I would say Eli is a blurry anti-hero, more going on the lines of villain, but he is a blurry anti-hero. But Victor definitely is an anti-hero. He's willing to do some things that wouldn't be deemed nice, but his heart is in the right place for the most part. I won't tell you guys more because I don't want to spoil the book for you guys, but yes, number 5 would be those 2, Eli and Victor of Vicious. If you haven't read Vicious, you should definitely read it. It's one of my favorite books of all time. So those were my top 5 anti-heroes. The lines were pretty blurry, as you can see towards the end. I don't know, one of them was kind of more of a villain, but that's kind of what makes anti-heroes so fun. I love a good anti-hero. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked the video. Make sure you subscribed and let me know some of your anti-heroes too in the comments below. It doesn't have to be 5 if you can only think of 1 or 2, or you only really like 1 or 2. That's perfectly fine. And I'll see you guys later. Bye!